My stepfather taught me everything he knows about the business. Well, when he retired, I assumed he was going to make me CEO. He didn't. He made my lousy brother CEO, who only parties, travels around with his friends, and knows nothing about business. Guys, here's exactly what went down. My whole family has disowned me, all because I chose to follow my dreams of being a CEO. I am being seen as the black sheep who is sabotaging my stepdad's company. My grandparents from my father's side have removed me from their will, and the only way they'll allow me back is if the family says I stop poaching my stepbrother's clients. Things were not always like this. In fact, a year ago, I thought I was going to inherit my stepdad's talent management company. I've been working hard my whole life so that I would make him proud one day. But it seems that blood is thicker than water. I'm a 28-year-old male who's been working for my stepdad since I was 18. My dad passed away at a very young age, and my mother later remarried a widower with a son, who was 2 years younger than me. We became a blended family and did not lose contact with my father's side of the family. The way Warren, my stepbro, and I were raised, no one would have guessed that we were not related. My stepdad treated us both like his sons, but we were very different people. My stepbrother chose to spend his school holidays on trips partying with his friends. I spent mine pestering my stepdad to let him work at the company. So he let me do small things like answering the phone, bringing everyone coffee in the morning, and running errands when I was still in high school. My mom was so proud of me for having an interest in the business and for working so darn hard. When I was in college, I worked for him part-time in the field that I was training. I came to him every time I needed advice or had trouble with school, and he helped me out. The money that he paid me usually went into a savings account since he and mom were already taking care of my tuition. I might seem entitled for saying that I thought I deserved to run the company, but indirectly, my stepdad prepared me for it. My stepbrother never had an interest in business at all, but I learned from my stepfather when I was 18. I started working for him while going to college. He mentored me, and over the years, I became one of his valued interns. When I finished my degree, I had my pick of each workplace that wanted me, but I decided to stick to the family. I did not feel good about leaving behind my family for a cushy job elsewhere. I should have taken the best offer and ran, because what I had just done was prepare myself for a serving with no gratitude. I had a lot of years' experience in the business, and so many job offers as well. He gave me an offer with benefits and promised me that I had a bright future at the agency. As I worked there, I was responsible for bigger and bigger projects. In the beginning, I was not taken seriously by my fellow employees, but I was soon able to win them over with my hard work ethic. Everyone in the business knew that I was his son and his right-hand man. I had no life, except for, well, the agency. For the past 4 years, I put my heart and soul in the company. I started working from the bottom. My stepdad was fair and made sure that I deserved any promotion that I got. As my position got higher, he started to consult me for business advice. I soon knew all the company's trade secrets, every single client and rival. I was usually an important person when it came to closing deals, and soon I became one of the top managers in my 4 years. Then my stepdad announced that he's going to retire, meaning the post of CEO would open up. Everyone, even my mom, thought that he was going to make me the CEO because of the success that I brought his company. I was already prepared for the opportunity. He's been teasing me that I was moving up in the company for a while now. But when he was retiring, he named my stepbrother as the candidate. Everyone was surprised, and I felt so betrayed that my stepbrother got what I worked so hard for. He said he has the potential to move the company forward, and he's been mentoring him the past 6 months. By all means, my stepbrother has been working for different countries overseas for a while now, but none in the same field as us. Even if he was taught everything there was to know about our business, he was not qualified at all. I pulled my stepfather to the side and asked him why he had appointed Warren instead of me. He said I was a good employee, but I had a while to go before becoming a leader. I asked him if it was because of the fact that Warren was his blood, and I wasn't. He got mad and started asking me if I've ever been treated like I was not his son. He pretty much told me to grow up and stop thinking that he owed me something. The conversation left me feeling unsatisfied and like a big injustice has been done for me. Even the other employees felt that my stepfather's choice was the wrong one. If I've been someone else who would have worked a long time at the company, I would not have protested. But I did not get how the rest of us had to start at the bottom, while Warren was handed everything on a silver, gold platter. I could not understand because I've done everything. I've gotten him the best clients, given up having a social life, and given up holidays to be mentored by him. I feel like he was very misleading with the way that he made me feel, like he was grooming me. I took every compliment to heart. The fact that I was going to have a bright future there. But my future was supposed to be at the top, not taking orders from a person with zero experience. I saw it the way it was. He had lied to me, created the perfect employee who would never leave the company. For a man who boasted as much about his ethics, he had none. He practiced nepotism. As soon as my stepbrother was appointed, I called my mom and told her what he's done. She told me that it was not the most important thing in the world, and more opportunities would come for me. She asked me to support my stepbrother and make sure that his transition into the company was smooth. I had a feeling that she knew about the plan to betray me and leave me out in the dry. I wanted to quit right then and there. I was so bitter and wanted what was mine. But I knew I had to be smart about it. I wanted my departure to hurt them, and so I stayed and watched as my stepbrother made a mess of the company. I gave him advice when he seemed to be heading in the wrong direction, but was reminded that I was in a lower position. News traveled on the grapevine, and most employees were dissatisfied with the way that he was treating them already. During that time, I was already planning my own company and started to steal clients right under their noses. My stepfather never came to the office, and my stepbrother had trouble with the simplest stuff. But they did not notice, because I was picking up slack for him. Even underneath my anger, that company held a lot of importance for me, which was why I wanted everything. I wanted them to beg me to buy their company, but that would only happen when I was on track. I put in my hours in the office, but many more starting the paperwork so that I could legally own the company. I had a friend in HR of my brother's company, and I asked him for a loophole so that I could quit without serving notice. It seemed that my contract with them needed renewing in a little bit, so all I had to do was refuse the renewal. After months of planning, I got an investor, and the plan to start my company was put in motion. I knew each other's clients like the back of my hand, and when I left, I took them with me. They came to me because they knew how good I was at my job. They did not trust my brother, who was already making a mess of things. Not to brag, but I was seen as a bit of a prodigy in the industry, and my stepbrother was already starting to make a mess right out of the gate. The day that I handed in my resignation when my contract expired, my stepdad was there to check on the company. They were so shocked when I handed my resignation and tried to make me a counteroffer to whatever I was being offered elsewhere. My stepfather even offered for me to be the co-CEO with his son, but I refused. He had the chance to make me CEO a long time ago, but now he was offering it to me so that I would not leave. I told my stepdad that he made a big mistake in making his son inherit the business. I might not have been his bio son, but in business, I was more his son than my stepbrother ever was. But that was the thing. I should have seen it coming. It was a bit vague in the beginning, but there was always a distinction between me and Warren. It was small things. I had to work hard, putting in 80 hours a week. But my stepbro got an allowance and got kicked out from job to job. Then, when he failed at that, he was awarded a CEO position. Even my mom and grandparents tried to convince me that I was better off in the family business. But I told them that it was not worth the mistreatment or disrespect of being led on by my stepdad. I did not see why my mom and granddad kept on trying to assume that we were this picture-perfect family, even though we were not all blood related. She chose my stepdad and my stepbrother, and they all thought I was going to fail. My stepdad told me that I was no longer his son, and that I would never make it without his connections. He said that I've committed the worst kind of betrayal by deciding to start my own company. It hurt when he said that, but it's been coming for a long time. Things have not been the same between us since, and he appointed Warren as CEO. My whole family decided that they wanted to cut ties with me. I was already living alone, so at least I did not have to move out. But I knew that I had to prove to them all that I could do. My business started out small. With only me and an assistant, I used most of my profit to pay. But my years of experience paid off, and I was able to expand my business slowly. There were times I thought I was going to fail and felt like I was in over my head. There was no one I could look out for support or advice. All the other people I knew were friends of my stepfather. Warren did offer to take me back into the company multiple times, but I knew that he just wanted me to save the sinking ship. There was also no way I could return after my stepdad disowned me. Slowly, I got more clients, and some of their clients jumped ship and signed contracts with me. One day, I was struggling to pay the electricity bill at my office, and the next day, I was being offered contracts left and right and center. I was now doing what I've been training for all those years, becoming a true leader. My company grew from one small office to an entire building in just a few months. The business media covered my exponential business growth, and I was named one of the top entrepreneurs of the year. I got more employees, and some of my former workmates came back to look for a job. It seemed that my stepbro was running the company into the ground. They've not gotten their salaries in a while, but he was overworking employees, spending company money, and struggling to understand the basics of the business. His clients that he managed were not getting noticed, and he was using many bad business strategies. I did not know if my stepdad was trying to help him, but if he was, it was not improving. I was now living alone and not speaking to my family members. My stepdad was not happy with my decision to leave and start over, and now he felt that it was my fault for knowing my worth. He felt that I owed him for all those years of mentorship, and it was snakish for me to get into the same business as him. Even though he retired, he was very important still in the industry and tried to sabotage me by speaking badly. But I put my head down, decided not to focus on them, and put all my efforts into my company. By the end of the year, I got a small award for the upcoming Businessman of the Year. I'm now making millions of dollars in revenue, and that's all thanks to the risk I took. Recently, my grandparents from my father's side met up with me. They live out of town, so they did not really know the full story. It seemed that my stepdad told them his side of the story, and I could only imagine how wrong the information he gave them was, so he could feel better. They asked me why I was ruining the family company when I could have helped it. I told them of the CEO situation, and they said that I was just being petty. They gave me one option as if I answered to them. They said that if I let go of the business idea and went back to my stepbrother's company, they would not disown me as well. I told them I would never give up being my own boss or taking my stepbrother's clients. I swore I would make them regret what they did to me, and I could see that they were already rejecting me. They told me that because I refused to cooperate, I was now being removed from their will. Their estate is worth millions, and with the money, I would have probably been set for life, but never at the cost of my own happiness. I told them that they could take their money because I did not need it. If my business kept on going in the right direction, then I was going to continue swimming in cash. And even if I was making barely $1,000 a month for working for myself, I would not want their inheritance. For me, I do the job because I love it, and there's something else that I'm passionate about. The money is just a good old bonus. Since the conversation, I've noticed that they had also joined the rest of the family in blocking me. I do not care what they say about me. I'm an independent and successful because of my own sacrifices. Nothing was handed down to me. I had to prove myself, and I'll continue to do so. In my opinion, I think that I was right in starting my own company, and the fact that my stepbrother's company is now at risk of being closed is not my fault at all. They all made their beds, and now they shall lie in them. I know my success makes them upset, and I am happy about that because that was the best possible revenge. I've moved on with my life, and this is the last time I will ever talk or think about them. I completely agree with the OP of this story. OP deserved to be the CEO, and I do not blame OP at all for the course of action he took. He started his own business, and now the father is mad, and so is his stepbrother, but they deserved all this. Guys, let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think it was right for OP to do this? Or do you think OP should have stuck with his family and eventually gotten to that CEO position after his brother inevitably fails? Drop your thoughts down below, and if you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button as Mr. Reddito does daily videos. Guys, there's one more story left today's video, so let's get right to it. Over the weekend, I, 23-year-old female, went to dinner with some of my dad's relatives who I don't see very often. My dad's never gotten along with my uncle, his brother, and I haven't either. He's rude, condescending, and we don't agree with him on a lot of stuff. Normally, I just try to ignore him. However, at dinner, my uncle asked me about my car I'd shown up in and about my new job. I started my job a little over a year ago after graduating college, and I worked hard for it. I make a lot of money and I'm proud of it. Software engineer. I recently bought myself my dream car I've always wanted. My uncle says in a condescending tone, "Hey, how much are they paying you anyways?" And I just point to a blank and told him how much I make. I guess I was supposed to laugh and say something like, "Oh, enough." But I told him the number. He started going off on a rant about how no 23-year-old should make that much money and how stupid my company is for paying me that much. I got pissed and said, I deserve every penny I make. I work hard and most people can't do what I do. Well, I guess this really made my uncle mad, because after dinner I received a text from my cousin saying I've been really rude at dinner and insulted my uncle's intelligence. My father sided with me since he hates his brother anyways. But my sister agreed with my cousin and said I shouldn't have said how much money I make, or talk to my uncle that way, and because it's just impolite. So, I'm asking you guys, am I the a-hole? I don't think OP's the a-hole in this situation. In fact, there was one comment that I read that I agreed with 100%. Not the a-hole. He asked a question, you answered. He insulted you, and you defended yourself. Don't dish it out if you can't take it, is my motto. Guys, do you agree with that opinion, or do you think OP went a little bit too far? Let me know in the comment section down below. As you guys know, I read every single comment. Okay, that's all the stories I have for you today. Smash that subscribe button, and Mr. Reddito will see you tomorrow. And like always, it's cool to be kind. See you guys.